Welcome to Productive Joy with Dr. Christy, where fun meets action.
Hi, friends. Welcome to Productive Joy. You know what? I feel so blessed to have the platform to get to share really cool conversations that I have had the opportunity to have over my last however many years and put them in a space where somebody else can choose to listen to. You know, my goal with this podcast is that we figure out ways to give ourselves that shot of B12. And what I mean by that is just refound energy, newly found energy to tackle the things that are ahead of us. You know, life isn't easy, and I'm not pretending that it is, but it can be a little bit easier with the right tools in your tool belt. So I use that analogy a lot because the reality is if you need an Allen wrench and you don't have an Allen wrench, you cannot do the thing you need to do, period. It just can't be done. And yet sometimes in life, we are operating without the tools that we need, and we're getting super frustrated over things that could be pretty easy. So I had a fantastic guest this week. His name's Anthony Cook, and he's just a pretty cool dude. Really authentic, really genuine, and fun and funny. And he shared some real nuggets of wisdom with us this week. And so I'm hopeful that you'll go back and listen because there are a couple things that he said that are just powerful. He talked about wins and lessons rather than wins or losses. We've all heard that phrase that, you know, fail forward or to figure out what you're learning in the process. And that's super important. But he put a new spin on it and gave us a little bit more peek behind the curtain as to how he chooses to learn from things. He didn't even sort of tell us his story. We could have talked for days. He has a pretty fantastic story, and that pretty fantastic story has translated into a pretty impactful life. He really is changing the world one person at a time, and that's pretty great. The other thing that he said that I want to spend a little time on is we're all either dogs or cats. So we are a dog family. We have 3 dogs. Their names are Dexter. He's 12 and he's a piece of work. He's a Jack Russell Rat Terrier mix, and he is very clearly the alpha. He weighs about 17 pounds. And then we have Finn. Finn is named after my maiden name, and Finn is a dog, really and truly. Like he looks like somebody took a lab and threw him in the dryer and shrunk him. He's about 40 pounds and just this little black dog that he kind of runs things at the century. He's not the hunter. Dexter's the hunter, and Finn just watches all the things. He also is quite possibly the snuggliest dog in the history of dogs, and yet he will eat another dog's face. So we have to be very careful. And then we have Hank. Hank is actually Chloe's dog. Chloe is our daughter, but Hank lives with us too. And he is 105 pounds of English cream golden retriever. He is the true golden, you know, the kind that just loves on you and wants to lay on you and thinks he's a lap dog, even though he weighs 105 pounds. I tell you about my dogs because we're not cat people. Not that I actually grew up with cats. We always had cats, but I'm more of a dog person than a cat person. Well, Anthony kind of gives us 2 schools of thought, right? Dog people are going to come up and lick you and be like, well, I might be a dog. Just a little, right? And then there are cat people who are going to observe you a lot longer before they decide to give you their affection. So if you've ever been around a cat, you know that they hold back until it's time, and then they are finicky about whether or not they give you their affection, which kind of makes you want their affection even more. And as I thought about his analogy for how humans interact, I think it's really important for leaders to recognize that not everybody are dog people and not everybody's a cat person. Some fall in between and others need a minute to warm up, and that's not wrong. It's not wrong for people to do things differently than we do at all. It's wrong to assume that everybody should do it your way. And as a leader, it's sometimes difficult to recognize the power in our own words and in our own actions, and asking people to show up might make them feel like they're supposed to show up as you. And that's no fun. That is not productive. That is not helpful. We need to show up as ourselves. We cannot show up as somebody different from us and actually be authentic about it. You guys know I'm very into authenticity. I spent a lot of my life really thinking I was supposed to fit in a different box. And darn it, I'm not. I have to be who I am, and so do you. So be you and recognize that you're not everybody's gift. I've said that a couple times recently, but you are a gift, period. So understand that you are the right gift to the right people at the right times, whether you're a dog or a cat, and own that. There's so much to be gained from owning the fact that you can only show up as you. I think that that's the lesson that I want you to walk away with today. I think you're going to love Anthony. Anthony is also running for school board, which is really exciting because he genuinely wants to make a difference. Now, you can only vote for him if you happen to live in the same jurisdiction as he does. But if you're listening to this and you hear it, y'all, you're not going to find a more authentic person who's going to take care of students first, period. He doesn't know how to do it any other way, and he wouldn't choose to. He is just that kind of authentic guy. And that's what we need on our school boards. That's what we need taking care of our children. As you all know, I'm an educator, period, at heart, and always will be. And yet I recognize that education is a whole lot bigger than just the school system. It is really the community and everything around it. So just dropping that little thought for the day. And as always, Productive Joy is designed to give you something you can use right away. So what's the something? Are you going to start categorizing people into dogs and cats so that you can recognize how to approach them, right? Because if you approach a cat incorrectly, if you approach some dogs incorrectly, that can be a problem too. You know, I talked to, and I don't know if she's written her book yet or not, about leadership according to dogs. And she spent a lot of her time in the HR space and did a whole lot of interviewing people. And what she realized is that everybody had a dog characteristic, right? Like, so some are Chihuahuas and some are Pekingese and some are golden retrievers and some are labs, which are different from golden retrievers, right? And some are boxers. And she had an analogy for each one. And I thought there was so much power because there are nuances regardless. You might fit into a category, but once you get into that category, you're a whole lot of things different from the other people in that category. So don't feel like I'm putting you in a box. The only box you're supposed to be in is the one you were designed to be in. And if you don't feel like you're in the right box, question that. Figure out how to get out of that box and into the right one. It's kind of like what we talked about with Merv Jenkins a while back about being in the right seat on the bus. That's actually from Good to Great too, but making sure you're sitting in the right seat on the bus, you're in the right box, you're in the right place to use your talents for good. So, as Productive Joy always ends, our goal here is to do what you need and to bring what you need. And I will only know that if you reach out to me. So email me, learningcanstick@gmail.com. It's that easy. Or Productive Joy. If you go to Productive Joy and on LinkedIn or Instagram or TikTok, you will find me. And I keep it pretty simple. It's usually just my name, Dr. Christie McMullen. Christie's CHRISTIE. MCMULLEN, and just reach out and tell me, hey, Christie, I love this, but I hate this. Like, why are you doing it? Let's get this to be exactly what you need it to be, because that's my goal with Productive Joy. So today and every day, if you can do me a favor, figure out a way to turn fun into action.